Hello, welcome to Newscentre. I'm Parikshit Luthra. The Union Government has tabled a bill that proposes a sweeping ban on online money games. IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnav introduced the bill in the Parliament today. The bill highlights that the proliferation of online money games have had a harmful effect on families, society and the economy, and calls for prohibition regardless of whether the games are based on skill, chance or a mix of both. The bill also proposes to constitute an authority for regulatory oversight. That's not all. The bill also provides an insulation to the government or the authority for any actions taken by them in good faith, but does not clarify anything further. The move comes as a body blow to the gaming industry, which has paid taxes to the tune of 22,000 crores to the government last year. The IT Secretary, while defending the bill, told us that the political leadership was clear about the need to act against online money games.
The number of jobs created are in their thousands, and the number of livelihoods affected are in their hundreds of millions. The industry itself claims that 450 million people play these games, many of whom are distressed. And I think parliamentarians, ministers and others who understand the distress of their constituents are very forthright in saying that this is a serious issue. So we have to balance. We have to balance between what is in the overall social good, and many of these people have talent and will find jobs in the legitimate gaming sector, which is being encouraged.
All right, I'm now joined by Aruna Sharma, former Secretary, Ministry of Electronics and IT, Robbie John, who is the CEO of Super Gaming, and Vidushpat Singhania, Managing Partner at Krida Legal, also with us. Thank you very much for joining us. Ms. Sharma, if I can begin with you, do you think this is the right step forward that the government is taking? Just a few years ago, we wanted to encourage the e-sports or the e-gaming ecosystem in the country. We wanted our citizens, our youth, to design games for the country, for the world as well. But will this now be counterproductive to that larger exercise?
It came as a shock to the entire industry, and I can appreciate that. Because if you say so, the same mighty ministry came up with the rules which defined gaming. And same ministry flagged it separately, what is game of chance and what is game of skill, so that the real money games and games of skill are differentiated from the game of chance. Now, when that kind of a differentiation was being talked about, they also talked about that the parameters will be worked out, and they encouraged the SROs to come up for absolutely the kind of doubts that were expressed for money laundering or for using it for the money being taken to the wrong cause and those kind of things. So it was very encouraging when the three SROs worked really meticulously to ensure KYC of those who are on board. All payments were made digital, and then they also demonstrated, because in the bill it has been stated that the results or the outcomes can be manipulated. So they demonstrated that this is not possible. The results cannot be manipulated. And it is definitely the skill which decides who the winner is. So that was the kind of track we were going. The first jolt, as everybody is aware, came with the GST with retrospective effect and putting the GST on all the money on the table. So all the industry had to go to the court and get the stay on it, so that immediate injury is not there, and that hearing, unfortunately, is still on. Not only that, an amendment was brought to the GST which enabled to sort of condone the retrospective effect, and it empowered both the center and state government, which nobody did. And to define which money of the GST is to be taxed, which has to be a goods or service. So money on table is neither goods nor service. With this, the state government started coming forward. You have government of Tamil Nadu who came up with a good regulatory system, a regulator, and the doubt which has been expressed in the clip which you have said, which is like a moral policing, that addiction will be there or people are wasting their money. So filters are there where you can put the number of hours you want to do, or you can also put the amount of money you want to play in your 124 hours of the day cycle, and red flags will be raised. And government cannot sort of decide on the behavioral pattern And, it has been mentioned that more than 40 crores of people of the Indian population, so which is nearly 1/3 of the Indian population, is indulging in the gaming. So what it is putting a ban on the real money games. So in the sense, it's a complete washout, not on the gaming industry per se, but the innovation. My worry is the entire innovation part of it, the startup part of it, is going to get hit. So I'm very sure when this bill will be placed in the parliament, there will be many voices who understand that through gaming, they are labeling it as a sin. Gaming is not sin. It can be an educating thing because it also put a spark into your senses of coordinating, deciding, planning how you can go about it, and it can be worked out. So gambling, you have an act where you get, whether it's online or whether it's on the shore, the government of India has come up with the powers, which state government we used to object that no, we will have a centralized legislation. And now
Right.
with this kind of a negative bill, I'm sure the states may come forward with a note which they may not agree to what the central government is trying to interpret and put a complete ban on real money games.
Right. All right, let me get in Vidushpat Singhania also. Vidushpat Singhania, do you believe there is going to be a legal challenge to this bill? We're told, we spoke to Jayesh Ranjan, a top-level bureaucrat in the Telangana government, and he said a case related to online gaming is being heard by the Supreme Court, and the government has, in a way, preempted what the Supreme Court may do. Do you think there could be a legal challenge to this in the days to come?
So let me just clarify one aspect. The Honorable Supreme Court of India was hearing the matter, both regarding GST and the aspect of whether the state governments can legislate on betting and gambling, and whether skill gaming for money would come within the aspect of betting and gambling or not. That hearing concluded about a week back, and the judgment has been reserved on that particular matter. So as we speak, the judgment has been reserved on that. I take leeway from what ma'am has said, Dr. Aruna Sharma has said, that initially the government had thought about regulating this industry, and they had taken a laudable step of saying that we will recognize the self-regulatory bodies, which will then come out with regulations or checks for manipulative gaming, for cross-border, for KYCs, all the ills that have been highlighted at this point of time. So what the industry expected is further consultations with them to check and prohibit exactly these evils. Therefore, it has come as a shock. A prohibition has come as a shock. What the industry was expecting is a regulation, maybe a very strict regulation in discussion with them, but what the industry was expecting a regulation. Now, I take the point that the challenge if the bill becomes an act, then the challenge is going to be on multiple fronts. One, whether the state governments have a right to make the law on betting and gambling, or whether the center has a law. It will further get complicated with the aspect that Sikkim already has a law for online gaming, and they allow for online gaming within the state. Nagaland also has a law for online gaming, and they have been in existence for a while. So whether that will be covered or not, or whether they still have a right to make a law on that or not. The second aspect will then also come in is what happens to horse racing. The horse racing has been traditionally been regulated and has been offered licensed for the past 100 years. So what happens to that? And when that moves online, which is there on horse racing and betting horse racing is also there in kiosks outside the race courses, which are licensed. So whether they are covered within this bill or not, I think that's another significant question. I believe the lotteries are largely out of this bill because Lottery Act and rules are separate and largely not covered within this aspect. But these are really questions that will come up in court, besides the fact of Article 19 challenge, that is the right of person to profession and trade, and whether these restrictions that the seeks to impose are reasonable or not.
All right. Let me also get in Robbie at this point. Robbie John, what do you believe when it comes to e-gaming companies in the country? There is a big worry in the industry that jobs will be hit, investments will be hit, and this will no longer be a sunrise sector. What's going to be the immediate impact on companies like yours?
I want to clarify a couple of things. One is that, from a bill perspective, the bill clarifies two things, which is good games and bad games, or the 1/3 that's kind of clarified as gambling or real money games. That's a separate category of the games that we make. I would like to say that the bill clarifies two things from our perspective, which is really saying that, hey, what is a video game and esports being kind of furthered by the government is really the key part of the bill from our perspective. Now, whether the games kind of are good or bad, that's not my job to kind of decide. But we've definitely seen what we wanted, which is a distinction between video games, which are played for entertainment, and games that are played for a financial motive. I think the bill separates both of these things out. I think that's really a big win from the video game industry, because people often confuse gaming and real money gaming, and that's kind of been something that we've kind of always highlighted. The next part of will jobs be hit and will that be there? I think the government secretary kind of clarified that there is enough scope in our gaming industry for an absorption of these jobs. I do agree with all of that, because India is a very, very large market from a entertainment for video games perspective.
All right. Let me go back to Ms. Aruna Sharma, and we'd just like to tell our viewers that the online gaming bill has been passed by the Lok Sabha. Ashwini Vaishnav, the Minister for Electronics and IT, spoke in the House a short while back. This bill has now been passed. It will go in the Rajya Sabha, and we expect the bill to be passed by Parliament soon. Ms. Sharma, it seems that the government is moving ahead very fast. It's likely to be passed in the Rajya Sabha, so it's not going to be long before this turns into law.
Yes, you are absolutely right. Because of the numbers is getting pushed. But I'm surprised to what they have called as a sports gaming. Does it mean that fantasy sports is becoming a part of it? I doubt, because sports gaming is entirely different sector. So in the sense, all these popular games, which the majority play, which you have labeled it as 1/3 and 2/3, I do not know how this classification is done as to what is sports gaming and what is real money game. Because gambling and real money game, skill game, a category one understands. But esports is entirely a different thing, where the skills is being done and no money is involved into it, and it's a pure sports which is graduating into the e-platform. So now all this gaming is involved, and as Vidushpat very rightly said, horse racing or rummy, which is popular as a club gaming on the tables of the clubs, which became an e-gaming, or you go into the other kind of games which are extremely popular, and definitely they are money games. One, it is going to hit the FDI very, very clearly. It is going to hit because the biggest things are real money games company. It is going to hit them.
Okay.
And it is going to hit their talent, as you yourself in the introduction has said. Yes, they will find their way in involving the new game, but what will be the financing module for that? Because the innovations are important. Right. I'm not so much concerned about the games played. I'm more concerned about the innovations involved. So yes, it will come through.
Most concerned about what happens to startups and the innovation ecosystem. We've run out of time, but thank you very much to Aruna Sharma, Vidushpat Singhania, Robbie Chauhan for joining us. IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnav, while defending the ban on online money gaming, highlighted its negative effects in the Lok Sabha. Let's listen in.
कई ऐसे परिवार है, कई ऐसे व्यक्ति है जिनको ऑनलाइन मनी गेम्स के कारण एक एडिक्शन हो जाता है, जिंदगी भर की बचत गेम में उड़ा दी जाती है। फ्रॉड और चीटिंग एल्गोरिदम्स ऐसे होते हैं कि पता नहीं चलता कि कौन किसके साथ खेल रहा है, और एल्गोरिदम्स ओपेक एल्गोरिदम्स होते हैं, हार निश्चय हो जाती है। फाइनेंशियल लॉसेस, माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, कई परिवार नष्ट हुए, एक्सट्रीम केसेस हुए, सुसाइड भी हुई।
Time for a short break, but don't go anywhere. We continue our discussion on the government proposing to ban online money games with Jayesh Ranjan, CEO of Industry Investment Cell in the Telangana Chief Minister's Office. Stay tuned.